cultural argument was that blacks have a pathology that's going to lead them to have a breakup of the family, et cetera, et cetera. So it wasn't just that policy. That policy is like a pointer because, this thing, what we're talking about is very complex, right? It's not like there's a cause and effect, right? There's multiple causes. In fact, there was a guy named Gunnar Myrdal. In 1946, he wrote a book. He was commissioned by the Ford Foundation to write a paper on the black condition. He calls it, the book was called The American Dilemma. It's a fantastic book. And it is a research analysis. He actually came from the Netherlands, Gunnar Myrdal. And he wrote this deep analysis on the situation for black people in America, and he called it the American Dilemma. And he came up with a term called cumulative causation. And what he said was, for African Americans, after he did this big analysis, African Americans in America don't suffer from one thing at a time. Actually, they have multiple causes. So a poor white might have one cause, and if you get them a job, they do better. And this analysis actually rang true to this day, meaning that people try to attack these problems with using one kind of approach. It never works. It always fails. And then they blame the victim or the people that are in the condition in the first place. So the reason I say this is because it's multiple causation, cumulative causation. When I was at Hennepin County Planning and Development, I got asked to do a study on homelessness or on the welfare system, on AFDC. And that's when they were going to change it was during the Clinton administration, right after Clinton had come up with the new rules around welfare, change welfare as we know it. We started seeing some patterns occur in the early 2000s that said that, wow, welfare is really changing and it's becoming all black. And in fact, when we did an analysis, most of the whites had left the system, right, because they had a time limit and it made it very difficult to get welfare. So when we started, before this change, the majority of people on welfare in Hennepin County were white.
And how long did that go till?
There was a 5-year window, and we were looking at it after the first 5 years. And we were trying to figure out what was going on. What we found is that the system had totally flipped. The majority of people on welfare, not just percentage-wise, meaning proportionally, but totally were black. Right? So there's still some white people in the system. And what we found was that white people's condition was episodic. Right? Meaning it was episodic. They had one thing happen, it's a situation, they'd get through the crisis, and then they'd get off welfare. African Americans would have multiple situations going on. So Gunnar Myrdal wrote this in 1946, and it was happening in 2000. Right? The same thing, right? So the dynamics of policy having an impact on outcome was clear.